So I've got this tiny little box called The Spirit of Eden. Now this is from Joseph Farhi, who designs a lot of solo games. Joseph also did The Road, which we love. And this is, again, another solo game where in this one, you're playing as... this one's a bit more abstract in in the way that it kind of plays out. But you're kind of controlling the three different spirits of the forest. So I believe from memory, it's like water, animals, and like flora and fauna. So flora, fauna, water. And what you're doing is you're kind of pushing back on, there's these three monsters that are coming into your land, and they're trying to ravage the land and destroy the land. And so again, like it sounds very thematic, which is cool. But the way that it actually plays out is you have this grid of like a 3x3 of cards. Each card represents a different terrain type, and so you usually have like two of each terrain. What you're trying to do is you're trying to protect those terrains from being ravaged, and then eventually if they're ravaged again, they're fully destroyed. So as soon as the monsters are able to destroy two of the same type of terrain, you immediately lose the game. But each of those monsters, the way that it plays out is they've got little meeples. So they're the three meeples that represent the three different monsters, and you have three discs that represent your three spirits that you're able to kind of command and move around. Each of those monsters has a deck of goals, and those are the different ways that you can kind of trap and repel them. And so once you manage to achieve each one of those objectives, you're able to completely repel each one of those monsters. The way that it actually then plays out is you actually have you roll dice, and then you have these cards where you place dice according to the number that you got, and that will be the types of actions that you're going to be able to do. So the actions are going to be either moving around, like moving your spirits around, or swapping different pieces around, because the way that the monsters destroy those lands is at the end of that round, after you allocate your dice and you've done all your movements, and wherever they're left, so whatever land card or tile that they're left in, they're going to ravage it. So unless you manage to get one of your spirits over there, and ideally with those gold cards, the gold cards are just going to dictate the way that you're going to capture that monster. So for example, it's going to be a combination of a particular type of terrain. So you kind of you're trying to get those monsters to the particular terrain where they're going to be trapped, and then matching them with a particular spirit type that is going to set that trap. So that's essentially what you're going to be doing. You're rolling dice, and then you're trying to prevent them from destroying it. If you don't manage to have a spirit there, then they're going to ravage the land. If they ravage a land again, that land is destroyed, and that's how you end up losing patches or areas of your board. It's obviously the way it actually plays is very abstract. The puzzle itself, I found it really compelling and really interesting from an abstract point. The first couple of games, because you're like, oh my goodness, it actually feels really tense, because not only are you dependent on the dice roll of what actions you're going to be able to do, but then also with those cards, the cards you could only allocate one dice to each card, and from memory I think you have 4 cards, and so often you may have the right numbers for the actions, but those actions happen to be in the same card because they're all different, and you go, oh no, and so you're having to sort of rearrange things. And so from that side, there are ways of also scaling the difficulty of the game, which I think is definitely going to be necessary, because after a few games you can kind of figure it out and go, okay, well now I'm gonna have to give them a bit more of an edge to make this challenging. So I think extremely clever design. Again, it's such a cute tiny little box, and look, it just kind of opens like it's like a flip box design, which I think is so clever. It actually, the play real estate, it actually does spread out to, you kind of need a good, it's not a huge table hog, but you do need probably, it's not something that you're going to easily be able to play on like an airplane tray. Right? You need enough space, and obviously you're rolling dice. So
I really harder
enjoy
or
it.
easier than The Road?
I feel like it's very different. I feel like it's on par probably in terms of difficulty, but it's very different in the way that it actually plays out. So, which to me is a sign of obviously a very clever designer. I would still prefer The Road just because I love that kind of post-apocalyptic survival theme. But yeah, very impressed with how much, what a clever puzzle has been able to be fit into such a teeny tiny box. So
There's alone edition designs are pretty clever. So,
yes, this is what I spent my birthday doing. Like I had put my birthday aside. I'm just gonna play all these games, and I ended up just playing this like over and over. And I don't remember this, but Amy was saying how like she would hear me because Amy was working from home that day, and she would hear me go, like
it was very dramatic. Yeah, very dramatic.
Obviously, I was so immersed in it that I don't even remember the noises that I was making. But
so this will be staying in the collection.
Absolutely, yeah, great. Such a clever puzzle in such a tiny box.
So that is the Spirit of Eden.
Spirit of Eden.